Hi, everybody. I'm Linda Cardwell, and I am part of the Asphodel-Norwood International Women's Day event that is happening on March 8th. Part of that event, we're doing it online on Facebook, and part of that event is we're going to interview some of the women in our communities. And right now I have with me Jodi Gerow, and she's from one of our neighboring communities. And we are really happy to have you here, Jodi, because Jodi, tell us about who you are, and what we're talking about today is COVID and bringing COVID home and making it real to people rather than just, it's this virus out there that we keep getting locked down about. So Jodi, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm Jodi. I live in Havelock. One is 26 and one is 24. I am 54 years old.
It's a good year, Jodi. It's a good year.
1966. That's about it. I work full time. I'm an essential worker, so I do have to work. I go to work every day, and during all of this, and I have to take all the precautions at work, and it's been difficult. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I've been able to work from home, and I feel like I've been really, really fortunate in that. And so many people that I know are going out and they're working out and they're donning their masks and they're coming home. I know my niece, and she's always got these marks. She works at one of the old seniors' homes, and I like my hat off to you. I don't know how anybody does this. I've put together a few questions for you, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to answer some of our questions for us about COVID. So you actually contracted COVID, correct?
I did.
And
in August of 2020.
And how was that for you? Like, how did that make you feel?
Well, I'll be absolutely honest with you. Originally, I was very nonchalant about it. However, I contracted it off my husband.
Yes.
And he contracted it through work. So he was ill before I was. I was ill about 5 days after he was diagnosed. Mm-hmm. So he was and is still having issues. He's a long hauler, and he was extremely ill. I wasn't sure he was going to make it, to be honest. He was that ill. I didn't get it as bad as he got it. My first symptoms were chills, and I had those for about a day. And then I had aches. My whole body ached for about 4 or 5 days. And then I lost my sense of taste and smell for about 3 months.
And did it feel like you just had the flu when it first started?
Yes, for me. Not for my husband, though.
No.
It was much, much worse for him. It's like breathing problems. Thought he took a heart attack, yeah.
These are very scary things that people are dealing with. I was talking with one of the girls that I work with, and she was saying that her mom, who is incredibly healthy and biked everywhere and does all kinds of stuff, she is now a long hauler. And one of their neighbors down the street who has done the Boston Marathon and is incredibly healthy, she is now a long hauler as well, and is in and out and has constant heart problems. And so I think what is interesting that's coming out is it's like other people in their home they had underlying health issues, but they're not long haulers. So did you feel for you that this was, were you scared that you were going to be a long hauler as well?
I didn't react the way that my husband did. Like, he was down and out in bed for like 4 days and never got up. And that's not my husband. He is a goer. He never misses work. Nothing keeps him down. He's not ill in any way. And for him to be in bed for 4 days is just unheard of. It's unheard of. So for me, I didn't get it near as bad. I wasn't surprised that I didn't get it near as bad because I have an autoimmune disease, and which makes my immune system attack very quickly. It reacts very quickly. So I don't get sick very often. I don't get like even colds. I haven't had a cold in about 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And I haven't had like the flu. So I don't get sick because my immune system is so heightened. Any little tiny kind of bug that comes in my system, it just completely attacks it, overkills it. So I was actually surprised when he was diagnosed. I really didn't think I would get it. I thought, well, my chances of getting it are probably really low just because of this autoimmune disease, but I did get it.
And so how do you find that you coped? So were you the main caregiver then in the home for the?
Oh, yes.
So as the virus started going through your home, you were it. So do you find that as the main caregiver, how did you cope? Did it work on your mental health? Did you find that you were just so stressed, or was it something, did you turn to other people for assistance? How did you make out?
Yes. So because my husband was the sick one first, and he was very sick, I was the one that looked after getting people to bring us in groceries, like family members, friends. I was the one that looked after him. And yes, I arranged for everything, and I wouldn't allow him, like we were in lockdown and quarantine anyway. So we weren't allowed to be out. He was diagnosed on the 15th of August, and I was diagnosed, I believe, the 19th or 20th. I had symptoms on like the 17th. So the thing is that you can feel good and feel fine, but for the first 2 or 3 days, you don't show any symptoms, but you're still carrying it.
So you could spread it if you
exactly. And that was the worry, is that before I even knew I had it, if I went to the store or, like I was allowed to go, I wasn't under quarantine at that time. So I had to get groceries and that, but my husband was, we didn't leave, but we didn't leave anyway.
No.
We had family and friends that dropped off groceries. I never went back to work until September 21st, and I was off from the 3rd of August. And thankfully I got it when I was on holidays. So I didn't spread it to anybody else at work, or I'm sure I would have.
So do you think that as a woman, that it is impacting women in the household in different ways than it's impacting the men, do you feel? Or do you think that it's just, it doesn't, the disease itself or the virus itself just attacks everybody across the board? But because you are a woman, do you find that maybe the stressors are deeper or more so on women?
Absolutely, because women are the caretakers. They're the fixers. They want to fix everything. And that's exactly the way I am. If something's wrong, if somebody's sick, I have to fix it, right? So I felt very stressed over it, and was extremely worried because my husband wasn't getting better.
Yeah.
He was just actually staying the same, and then he started getting worse. And then he became a long hauler when things weren't going away. More things are still cropping up that he's having issues with even now, and it's 6 months later. So yeah, it's definitely a stressor for me. Like I will honestly say my life has never been the same since we've both been sick. It's not the same.
No, and that is a big thing I think that we don't realize. We keep saying when things go back to normal, when things go back to normal. But what am I hearing from you? You don't think that things are going to go back to normal in people's households?
Not for me personally. I can't speak for other people, but I feel like I'm back to normal, but I don't think my husband, I don't know, but I don't think my husband will ever be. I don't think
Do you think that because of the way it's like, you know, tomorrow is not something that is promised to us. And I think that at least I'm finding as I'm talking to people about, you know, their experiences with COVID, I'm finding that they're like, no, you know, tomorrow isn't guaranteed. And so today we have to live for today. But today
That's right.
I'm locked down and I'm stressed and I'm,
Yeah.
you know, so do you think that there's a way that we can reach out to one another? Is there something that would be helpful that you could suggest to women that are struggling in this time?
Um, I just refocus on something that I'm passionate about. And actually, how I coped was mostly I started my own part-time business
Oh,
while I
good.
was off. And I really focused on that. And that's kind of how I coped. And I put all my energy into that, or as much as I could, to take my mind off of what was going on at home. Like, because I didn't have young kids at home. Now, if I had young kids, I think that would be different.
Right.
My recommendation is, if you have young kids at home, keep your family close. Be very, very careful who you associate with, because you never know whether they're going to have it. You know, masks, hand washing, extremely important, of course. But I think that I think if I had my kids at home and they were young, it would be, I would be given an opportunity to spend family time with them and keep my family close and spend time with them and excuse me, do things with them. And as much as I know it's stressful, and I can't imagine, you know, having really young kids at home and having to go through this and telling them, you know, you can't go play with Johnny, or you can't. And because I know the children are having issues as well, like mental health issues, right? Because they
Yes.
can't go and play, they can't, and it's not good for them. It's not, but make up little games at home and things like that to try and keep them busy. And that's what I would be doing if I had young kids at home.
Yeah, I find like my husband and I, there's just the two of us, and we went and cleaned off our pond at the bottom of our property, and it's not something that we would normally do, and
Right.
yet during this time, like I have really felt cooped up, and I am not that kind of person. I am like, I'm happy to be at home, be by the fire, glass of wine, good book. Whoo, leave me alone. I'm good.
Yes, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, but this time, like I found this has been so long now, and
Yes.
I have been away from, you know, I'm a hugger, so I miss that contact with others. And I'm finding that, you know, even when you do get out in a grocery store or something, you're so like, you're like, oh, let's stand
Stand
back.
back.
Let's, yeah, you know, be careful. Oh, and there's so much fear and there's so much anxiety out there now
Mm-hmm.
surrounding this virus. And I can't
Yes.
imagine, having contracted it, how I would have coped personally. So I'm finding like being down at the pond and skating, or we had a bonfire out, Paul and I, and, you know, here he is, and we're roasting marshmallows and having a drink by the fire, you know, -16. but,
Yes.
but it's like, I think that, you know, we use the term now, new normals and all that. I don't know if it's new normal or if it's just a refocusing. I think that
Yes.
I haven't been through COVID like you have, but I feel like there's a refocus now onto, you know, what's our priorities in life? What is important to us?
Exactly.
What do we pour our time and energy in? And you were talking about your business.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that these are so important, these things, right?
And on top of all this, we had just picked up a puppy. So at the first part of August, my first week of holidays, we just picked up a puppy. And the second week, my husband got sick. And then the third week, I got sick. So I'm trying, we're trying to I'm trying to look after my husband, look after this little tiny puppy we just got. And because we only had like 3 or 4 days with him, and then my husband was sick.
Oh,
And
good.
then and I was looking after him. and then I get sick. So I'm sick and I'm trying to force myself to get out of bed in the morning to go look after the puppy and play with him, even though I felt terrible. And yeah, so that was also, it's been absolutely excellent for my husband, the dog. I think it's how he's coped with all of his issues that he's had and having. And I think that's how he's coped with the dog. And I know the dog means a lot to him. So
That's marvelous.
yeah.
Jodi, I am so grateful for you doing this interview, and I'm really hoping that the women out there in our communities, that they get something out of this. Is there something that you would like to leave with the ladies around, your friends and family, or our neighbors and stuff? Is there anything that you would like to leave with us?
Just keep your family close. And, I think we all need to just follow the rules right now to get over this. And hopefully we're going to get the vaccines. And, next year by this time, we're all going to be looking at it and we're going to be back to somewhat of a normal life. Mm-hmm. But I think people need to really understand that this illness can really strike you down. And I've seen it, and I would have not believed it, to be honest, until it happened to my little family. And it affects your whole family, because I haven't seen my daughter since Easter, and not last year, but 2019.
Oh gosh.
I had to cancel Easter in, I would have had Easter in 2019. And then I didn't see her. I might've seen her on my birthday in August of 19. I would have seen her in December of 19. But then in 2020, I didn't see her or my son at all. Not for their birthdays, not for my birthday. I didn't have them home for Christmas. I can't take any chances with my husband, because the doctors told him that if he gets it again, that he will not survive it.
Oh, Jodi, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. This must be very, very hard. I want you to know that there are people that are thinking about you, and they're like Paul, my husband, Paul, he talks about you and your hubby. And he always is very concerned to make sure that, you guys are all right. And I want you to know that there are people in the community that are thinking about you.
Thank you.
So anyway, thank you for doing this, and
You're welcome.
Have the very best day. And of course, if you need anything, you know where he is. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I hope I've helped somebody. I hope I've helped them to understand. And that's important to me, to get that across, what it's like to go through it, and still going through it. And like I said, I really don't know what the future holds for him or us as a family, like what's happening. So
it's so important that we don't remove ourselves too far from this, that we understand that this is affecting people that we know, that are our neighbors, that we need to be wearing our masks and washing our hands so that we can end this a lot sooner.
Yes. We need to follow the rules. Everybody needs to follow the rules, and we'll be in a lot better place for sure.
Jodi, have the very best day. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you.
Bye. Happy International Women's Day.
Same to you.
Bye.